Hello students and my dear viewers. This is Professor Dr. Moina Akhtar Mughal from Dr. M. Kazi Institute of Chemistry, University of St. Jamshedpur. Uh, Today I thought that I must discuss something very new to you people so that you will be able to be a little bit away from those lectures that I've been teaching you since many months, right? So as after completing your 4 years BS program or after completing your masters, you'll be looking for the jobs in the industrial side, and maybe some of you are interested in industries. So I thought that I must start with a very interesting topic, that is how glass is made. Now, what is glass actually, right? So this is something very interesting. In everyday life, in our, you can simply see a lot of things that are made up of our glass. We cannot live without the existence of glass in our life. For example, we cannot live in our house if we don't have the windows, glass windows, right? If we cannot live in a place where there are no glasses to drink water, right? And there are many other things that are made up of glass. For example, the glass doors. Your house maybe have some glass doors. Even in the university area, you might have seen the glass doors. Glass is everywhere, right? And if you come to the decorative side, the glass vases, and there are many other decorative objects that are used for decorative purposes, and we use them as decorative items in our house. So there are many things that are made up of this glass. Our car windshields, right? These are the things, and there are lot of stuff that is made up of glass. So the process of what is glass? Now, the process of making glass needs synthesis. It is simply some sort of a synthesis. And how interesting it is to know that it is the synthesis starts from sand. Now, how interesting it is that when you warm sand to some certain temperature, it starts melting and it starts converting to glass. So that is something very interesting. Now, what happens that this process is not that easy, but it's very interesting, as you can say that sand itself, you cannot melt it on our daily use these stoves. We cannot melt the sand in our kitchens, right? You need something else, some other place, some other appliance for heating sand to that much temperature, because the temperature is supposed to be very high till the sand starts melting, right? So there is certain type of you can say container in which the sand is kept, and it is inserted into some sort of an oven, right? And what that oven, you can call it a furnace, right? It is called a furnace. So the sand is kept inside some sort of a container, then it is inserted into that furnace, and the temperature is raised to that level till the sand starts melting, right? It is in thousands degrees centigrade, above 13,000 degrees centigrade, or sorry, above 1,300 something. It's the temperature lies between that. It has a very high temperature, right? Now I don't remember the range of exact, but it's very high. So melting, now what happens that the melting, it starts and then I was telling you about the certain temperature range that it starts melting. The temperature is raised to almost 1723 degrees Celsius, and then the sand almost, it starts melting, right? And then what happens when it starts melting? The portion of the sand, it starts melting and it starts converting into some sort of a lava, and that lava, it looks golden shining. It has a golden shining color. It shines like a lava, but though it's not lava, it's molten sand, right? So now what happens that when it starts changing its one form, its composition, to another form, that is now it's a molten form, it attains the molten form, it's now So I was telling you about how it look the glass that sand it looks like when it was heated and into the furnace, and then the temperature was raised to that level that it turns into to the molten form, and the molten form it resemble like lava, though it's not lava, it's molten sand, right? So now when it after that phase it starts now cooling down. The process of cooling starts, and now it turns, when the cooling starts, what happens that it starts getting solidified, right? And the solid, as it starts solidifying, it's been quite visible, and it before it gets into the solid form, it's been poured over a flat surface. There is a you can say a rolling flat surface where it is flat place is there, surface is there where it is poured when it is in the molten form, and then it attains the shape of the, if we have to make the glass you can say windows or glass doors, it attains the shape of that glass window, and it is placed, that molten sand is poured over that sheet of that machine, right? It's a full machine that has got, that part that on which that molten sand is being poured, and as gradually as the time passes, after a few minutes, it will start getting solidify, and it will turn it, it will be visible to you, like you can see a glass. It will turn into glass, right? And it will attain the shape of a glass, or you can say attain the glass, and that glass can be used to make different things, because now it's in the flat form, so it can be used for making windows or furniture, or it can be used anywhere, and it can be used for example for the decorative purposes also, like for example you can say these there is an awesome technique by of glass blowing, right? And that the people are trained enough to use that glass blower to make objects like ducks, like swans, and it's such a beautiful way to form these beautiful ornament like birds and different type of decorative pieces that are made from that glass when it is very extreme hot, when it is super hot, right? So and these includes all the glass birds you have seen in the shops, or you have seen swans and ducks and different type of decorative items that are made. These are made just because of this awesome technique which is called the glass blower, and it is the person who's trained enough to do it, that blows air into that. If he's forming a glass vase for the flowers, for keeping the flowers, it's round in shape. The glass is totally round like a ball, and then he will roll it over that flat surface, and it will attain the shape of that glass vase, and then he will blow air into it to blow it, and there will be different type of bubbles can also be formed during that process, and before it starts cooling down, right? So the whole process is very amazing to see and watch. Now the thickness of that molten glass is comparable with the viscosity or viscousness of an honey. It is as viscous as honey when it is super hot, and on cooling it gets the shape of a hard solid. So isn't that strange that you melt sand and you get and it turns into glass? You are simply melting sand and you are getting what? Of course, a glass. So it was initially told that glass objects were made in Egypt, right? And that was the place full of sand, and that was some place where there was sand was there. Maybe someone said that it was like you can say somebody opened make a fireplace, and after some time he thought that under that fireplace he saw the sand that was molten. So they got that idea from that. It is initially from the Egypt that this idea came from, right? How the sand can be turned to glass. So now, what is actually glass, right? The formula for glass is R2O.MO.6 SiO2, silicon dioxide. Right now, what is R? R is can be a monovalent cation. It could be lithium or sodium, and M is a divalent cation. It could be magnesium or calcium. So glass has enormous properties, right? And it is amorphous. Amorphous means that the atoms inside the glass are not, they are not in order, or they are not in orderly arranged. They are randomly arranged, right? They are random, and as it is, you can say amorphous, solid, or does not hold the properties of a crystal. It is totally opposite of the crystal. So it could be called as a pseudo solid. It is also called a pseudo solid. That is, it is some sort of a solid holding properties of holding properties of a liquid. It's a solid holding liquid properties, right? So as it has a proclivity or tendency to flow like a liquid, it resulting into a thicker base than the top of the glass, right? Top of the glass, whereas the pseudo solids, for example, is deficient in having the 3D regular positioning of atoms, right? So as it is not true solid, it's not a true solid. It does not present, you can say, sharp melting or sharp boiling points, as it is not at all a true solid. So it will definitely not be, presenting sharp melting or sharp boiling points, right? So silicon is the, you can say, commonest cation that forms glass. Silicon is actually the most commonest cation that forms glass, along with all the abundant and natural raw materials, namely like limestone, that is calcium carbonate, soda ash, and sand, right? Just as I've mentioned. So the glass has the property to get hard. It holds that property to get hard, and without changing its composition to crystalline form, that is the ordered form in which the crystals, definitely crystal has the ordered structure, so it will not have that property of crystal. It never has the property of a crystal until it quartz does have it, right? Quartz has the properties of a crystal, quartz. So so without changing the composition to the crystalline forms, it stayed its rigidity, attaining its amorphous form, right? It's kept on attaining its rigidity, and it stays in the amorphous form, or you can say the excellent form of glass can be obtained from silica. The silica is the best, you can say, thing that can give you the excellent form of glass, right? So the excellent form of glass can be attained easily from silica, right? And it possesses a very high melting point, around almost 3.133 degrees Fahrenheit, or as I just mentioned, 1.723 degrees Celsius. And it is extreme at that level. It becomes extremely, you can say, difficult to handle. And the handling of that part is very difficult. It has got the problem of handling. So students, today I tried to explain you what actually the glass is, how it gets so much attention in our daily life, right? Because mostly we are dealing with are made up of glass. So we should be knowing about the properties of a glass, what type of glasses are, what is the role of color in glass making. I'm going to discuss all these things afterwards, and I will in my next video I will try to tell you about the composition of glass, what is the main composition, and as it is composed of 3 different steps, right? And I'm going to explain you stepwise what are those. It has something to do with the, you can say, formers, something to do with the fluxes, something to do with the stabilizers. So this is all the process that goes on when we are discussing about the glass manufacturing industry. So because it leads all to the glass manufacturing industry. So I hope you will find this video interesting, and you will be waiting for my next video, which will be the continuity of this same lecture that is on glass and its composition and its manufacturing, and it's all about glass. So see you next time in my next video. Bye bye.